all gone by. And we walk just like birds of a feather in the friendly skies. All of the people that see us, they know we'll stand the test. When it comes to flying formation, oh, baby, we're the best. We are family. Together we're the best there can be. A united family. The best team that you ever will see. We are family. Thousands strong, but we all agree. A united family. A fair sky deal for you and for me. We're the stout-hearted crew that flew through the years together. Stormy skies are fair. Now we'll join cheers together. We'll get our fair share. Our years are down and locked. Wheels are cocked. We'll stay on the ground. Stay on our course till the powers that be provide you and me with a deal that's sound. We are family. My brothers and my sisters and me. A united family. Together we're in great company. We are family. You and you and you and you and me. A united family. That stands as one with unity. We are family. Together we're the best there can be. A united family. The best team that you ever will see. We are family. Thousands strong, but we all agree. A united family. A fair sky deal for you and for me.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paul Anthony, speaking to you via satellite from the United Pilots Strike Committee Teleconference headquarters in Chicago. I'd like now to welcome all of the many thousands of you joining us in your domicile cities across the nation. Welcome aboard, Los Angeles. Glad to have you with us, Denver. Hello to all you good folks in San Francisco. The same for all you further up the coast in Seattle. Thanks for your support, Cleveland. And the same for you, Miami. Thanks for joining us, New York. A hearty welcome to you, Washington, D.C. And thanks to the 2,000 strong right here in Chicago, Illinois. It all adds up to the greatest display of solidarity the airline industry has ever seen. Over 15,000 people standing as one in support of the ALPA proposal. United pilots and their families, United IAM personnel and flight attendants and their families, flight personnel from other airlines and other invited guests. In short, all of the people who have the most to gain and the most to lose as a result of developments during the coming months. We have a very exciting show planned for you this afternoon. So let me get right to it by telling you the agenda for today's Coast to Coast Hookup. We have divided our program into three equally important parts: the why, the how, and the who. Now, to address the issue of why, ALPA and the company are at this impasse, You'll be hearing from Captain Roger Hall, Chairman of United's MEC, and Captain Hank Duffy, President of ALPA. Daniel Shore, noted newscaster, will anchor this segment by opening with a short restatement of the ALPA position. Captain Hall and Duffy will each have brief remarks and will join Mr. Shore to answer some basic questions. We'll then open the phone lines for a 20-minute Q&A session for the captains, giving each of our 9 audiences an opportunity to ask questions of our panelists and have them answer live on the air. Now, part 2 addresses itself to the how, the nuts and bolts of strike organization. We'll have brief remarks on the current status of ALPA's strike preparation, communications, and a negotiating committee report. We will again open the phone lines to all of you out there for questions of our panelists. Our third and final segment will feature Howard K. Smith, who will address us on management and worker cooperation in increasing productivity. We will then turn our attention to an area of critical concern to all United pilots: the specter of replacement pilots taking their jobs. We'll talk at length to knowledgeable people about the truth behind this issue, and you will find their comments encouraging, I'm happy to say. We will then hear from F. Lee Bailey, one of America's most famous attorneys, who will talk to us about the need for preparedness and professionalism. And finally, we'll hear from one of your own, a deeply committed United pilot, who will talk about the personal dimension of all of this, as well as some closing comments from Captain Hall. Somewhere in the middle of all this, at about the halfway mark, we'll take a break for 15 minutes to let you stretch your legs. As you can see, we have a jam-packed afternoon ahead of us, so let us, as they say, take off. It is indeed a pleasure for me to introduce our first panel moderator, Daniel Shore, a colleague known for his honesty and forthrightness. Mr. Shore will summarize the ALPA activity of the last few years for us. Daniel Shore. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That introduction was too kind. It reminds me of former Secretary Henry Kissinger, once approached by a woman who said, "Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for saving the world." He looked at her for a second and said, "You're welcome." It is a pleasure, and it's even an interesting experience for me to be a part of this activity here today, both in Chicago with this impressive list of speakers that Paul has given you, the whole agenda all being carried by the miracle of modern communications all over this country by satellite. Now, those of you who know me as a television reporter, sometimes even an employed television reporter, know that my role is usually objective and neutral. But my role here today is a rather special one. That is to say, I'm going to give you the message of your leadership. It is an interesting and persuasive story to tell. As a matter of fact, I flew in to Chicago from Washington only yesterday. I was met by some of the leaders. I met with Roger Hall and with Mr. Duffy, many other people, some whom you'll soon be hearing. They try to convince me, indeed almost did convince me, that if two-tier pay scales become the industry standard, I'll be doing a lot more traveling by Amtrak. All right, now I'd like to begin this by providing you with a summary of events that occurred during the past few years that served to bring us all to this gathering today. And you do understand that this is a summary which I've been given to give to you because my knowledge doesn't extend enough to summarize it myself. I do this not only to acquaint those few of you who are not aware of the ALPA bargaining position, but also to refocus the attention of the rest of you on the salient points so that the record is fresh in everyone's mind. This will take only a minute or so, and I suggest that you listen to the statement that comes from your leadership. Fact: since 1981, United Airlines pilots have granted wages, fringe benefits, and other concessions to the company totaling over $105 million annually. Fact: in August 1981, pilots agreed to a company request for a 15% increase in productivity to make United more competitive in this new era of deregulation. This was achieved through concessions in working conditions, fringe benefits, hours, and saved the company $75 million a year for the last 3.5 years. Fact: In April 1983, pilots agreed to a company request to defer a wage increase of 6% contained in the 1981 contract. That concession has saved the company $30 million a year for the past 2 years. In fact, in January 1984, the company began bargaining negotiations for a new contract by asking the pilots to give 24% more in concessions. In fact, since the start of new contract negotiations, ALPA has met with the company on 33 separate occasions, attended 36 mediation sessions. In fact, talks ended 6 weeks ago when United Negotiations refused to respond to the latest ALPA proposal. In fact, 3 weeks ago, the company turned down an offer of binding arbitration from the National Mediation Board. In fact, negotiations are stalled on all major issues, not just one. Pilots and the companies still far apart on wages, work rules, pension, vacation, and scope, as well as the two-tier pay scheme. In fact, under the company-proposed two-tier pay system, newly hired pilots would earn up to 53% less than current pilots. In fact, ALPA has offered the company a modified entry-level pay scale comparable to other United Airlines unions. In fact, the ALPA contract proposal would cost the company significantly less than the pilots have already voluntarily contributed in the past 2 years. Fact, and there won't be many more of these facts, fact, on the average, United pilots are paid least of all pilots among the economically healthy airlines, despite management promises in 1981 that United pilots would be the best paid in the business. Fact, United had an industry-high operating profit of $564 million in 1984. In fact, the average United pilot has 19 years experience with the company. The average United executive has 10 years experience. In fact, by a vote of 96%, the 5,300 pilots of United Airlines authorized a strike of the company beginning at 1 minute past midnight on the morning of May 17. Okay, that is a series of facts compiled by your leadership, and with that brief background complete, seems to be clear to see the facts, I'm told, speak eloquently about the situation in which you find yourselves at this particular moment in time. So now, let me make way for a few minutes so you can hear from Captains Hall and Duffy, and when they have spoken, we'll be getting together over there for some additional questions that have been given to me to pose to them, things that I'm sure are on the mind of everybody here and everybody listening and watching throughout the country. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shore. That certainly does set the stage nicely for our first panel discussion. And now to add an additional dimension to the